Hey guys, welcome back to some more Football Manager 2018 and part 3 of my Football Manager in the Future videos. This is 250 years into the future we have simulated. If you missed the 100 years in the future video, that is over on FM Scout. If I remember, I'll put in a little card in that top right corner. Also, if you missed the 50 years in the future video, then that is on my channel and should be in a playlist somewhere. But a lot of things, interesting things have happened in football in the first 100 years, but another 150 years have passed since our last episode. If you guys want to download the save from this point and play 250 years in the future, then be my guest. The link is down in the description along with the 50-year and the 100-year save. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So here we are in the game then, 250 years into the future. I haven't seen what's happened in the last 150 years, but one thing that we didn't look at in the 100 years in the future video was the UEFA Champions League. So without further ado, let's have a look at the UEFA Champions League for the last however many years. It looks like the holders are Rangers, which is very odd if that's the case. My word, the Don, if you're watching out there, Rangers have won a Champions League. It looks like, oh, they've won it twice. Goodness me, what's going on in this world? So we'll go all the way back to 2068 when the 50-year video came out, and we could see that Man United were having a dominant hold on the trophy, and then it looked like the Lorient years after that, and you can see Lorient and Leipzig sort of swapping it between them. I'm not seeing many surprises in there so far. West Ham winning it in the 2099 season, Newcastle winning it again. Whoa, look at this, Tottenham absolutely dominated it for about, I don't know, 15 years. They were there or thereabouts. They got to a couple of finals in that time as well, and then Saint Etienne. It's weird, we're seeing patches of dominance in the Champions League, which is something that's a little bit unheard of in real life at the moment. I think Real Madrid have become the first teams to win it back-to-back since it's been the Champions League. I mean, look at that, 5 in a row for Leipzig, and Lille win the final 4 years in a row before they finally won it. They weren't playing the bogey team that year. That's crazy. Hull City won the Champions League. That's fantastic. They won it twice in 4 years and were runners-up in one of the other years. And look at this, Hull domination. I'm interested to see whether that translates into the league as well. Sochaux have won a couple of Champions Leagues as well, but they're in Ligue 2 now. So, oh, who's this? Amiens FC. So they're in Ligue 1. Where did they start Football Manager? That is the question. If we go into domestic leagues and we go all the way down to the bottom, yeah, they were down in Division 2A. So that's the sort of team I like to see rising through the ranks, winning multiple Champions Leagues there, and that is crazy how many Champions Leagues they won in a row. Reims are there. This is great. It's starting to get sort of unknown teams all the time now. We've got Toulouse in there, Espanyol, Cologne, Troyes, Wolfsburg. This is crazy. Real Madrid won it. First time in a long time since they won it. Wolfsburg winning it a lot. It'll be interesting to see who's won it the most though. Guingamp, Rangers, there you go. And we're getting up to modern day where Rangers are having a little bit of European sort of presence, which is something that I'm sure they've never had before. But RB Leipzig are the most most sort of times winner, if you like, of the Champions League. That's fantastic. 140,000 was the highest ever attendance at Barcelona, and that's absolutely crazy. What about player records? Shall we see, does it say anything about, yeah, most goals in the season? Still Cristiano Ronaldo. Somebody scored a double hat-trick in 2099. Crazy stuff. Shall we have a look at the Europa League while we're here? Go into past winners, So Celtic, wow, look at this. Celtic have won the Europa League and Rangers have won the Champions League. That's fantastic. That's really good to see. You guys can let me know if you see any sort of big surprises in there. I guess the biggest one for me is Strasbourg winning it. Hull are winning it. Dortmund in there as well, which I haven't seen much of Dortmund. Bournemouth won it in 21-39. That's a bit crazy. And now we're starting to get back towards where we last looked at the Champions League. Celta de Vigo winning it again. They were certainly a team with a lot of presence. But that is pretty cool, seeing what we've seen so far. Now let's have a look at the Premier League. The Hull does a QPR. That's brilliant. So we're starting to see I guess that's 2068. So we were up in 2117. Newcastle winning a few of the titles. Tottenham also. Look at this. They had a bit of wow. This is why they were winning loads of Champions Leagues. I wish we'd seen that team. That was fantastic. Chelsea also having a dominant period, and it wasn't until Hull came around that there was any new team in there, and Hull absolutely dominated. That is just ridiculously good. Man City and Hull, Newcastle as well in there. I tell you what, Newcastle have been there and thereabouts. West Ham back in there. Bradford City win it in 2213. That's probably the biggest surprise so far in the whole save. West Ham in there again. Arsenal and QPR have won it most recently. They've come from nowhere. Let's see. Oh, wow. Look at this. Rapid rise. That's like Leicester in real life. That's pretty damn good. Marvin Gaye. He's now a hot prospect. It doesn't look like we can actually look at some of the stats. Which is a shame. Never mind. But if you guys see anything surprising in your version of the save, then please let me know. Let's just have a look at the Premier League as it stands. Is there any shocks in there? Tottenham are still in there. Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea and Arsenal. So all the big teams are still there. Is there any really small teams in there? It doesn't look like it, to be honest with you. I guess Birmingham, weirdly, maybe Bradford City are the smallest team in the Premier League. That's so strange. And now let's have a look at the Championship. Bristol Rovers up there. That's good from them. Crawley Town, Lincoln City, Leyton Orient, Southend, Wrexham. Good stuff. Good stuff. Everton are down there. Leicester. I can't see the likes of Stoke. So let's see where Stoke are. Oh no, they're in the Championship. What about Sunderland? And somebody asked to have a look at wow, Sunderland are in the National League. Now it looks like they went down to the National League North, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. That could happen in real life, to be honest with you. Somebody asked us to have a look at Accrington Stanley. They're in the National League, so that's fair enough. Not really much else to have a look at. Is there any surprising winners of this? Blackburn, I guess. Although there are only 2 leagues above it. There's no, at first glance, there's no real surprises. Wigan in there. Gateshead, obviously. Peterborough United, Kev will be pleased about that. Charlton, Sunderland, there's Sunderland. Nottingham Forest, where are they these days? League One. So that's pretty crazy. How long have we been going? About 8 minutes at the moment in terms of this recording, so probably about 10 minutes in the whole thing. Let's have a look at the World Cup next, and then we'll have a look at some of the European leagues. Before rounding out this particular episode, we'll also have a look at the Ballon d'Or. So, we got up to 2118, so Colombia won that World Cup with England in second. What's happened since then? Germany, Brazil, Portugal, France. Paraguay won it. Wow, that's a big year for them. Denmark finishing second. Serbia doing quite well as well. As I said, if you guys spot anything, make sure you let me know down in the comments. Ukraine winning the World Cup is quite a surprise. Nothing else there really though. England have won it a few times, which is good to see. Let's have a look at the host nations. Any big surprises? China, I guess. Morocco, South Korea on its own, which is interesting. No sign of North Korea hosting anything. We could have a look at Olympic host cities because it is an Olympic year. So shall we have a look at the past winners of the Olympics? Doesn't look to be any surprises on there. I guess Denmark's the most surprising. Any big surprise? Oh, Great Britain hosted again in 2156 and 2080 as well. So we are going to host it again, everybody. There's not much else on there, to be honest. Greece, I guess, is the smallest country, and that's not even a surprise. So let's have a look at the European Championships and see how the European countries have done in that. The Euros are currently going on at the moment, actually. Portugal, look at that. That is actually crazy. In international football, to win the trophy for, what is that, 24 years in a row? That's crazy. And they've won it again recently. Scotland up there. I tell you what, the Don's having a good episode, isn't he? Portugal have been prolific. Czech Republic winning it 1 year. Croatia winning it 1 year as well. Are the big surprises. There's not much else in there to be totally surprised about. Scotland and Wales actually hosted the last World Euros. Let's have a look at the La Liga and see if there's any surprises there. Is it going to be Barcelona and Real Madrid? That would be kind of funny if it is. It is, you know, with Valencia. Has it ever changed? I can't remember. Espanyol had a really good period. Wow. Celta de Vigo in there as well. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Real Sociedad. That's quite cool, but nothing too surprising there. So that's a shame. What about the Serie A? That was the one where a lot of things were happening. Where we had Avellino 1912. I think they're the most obscure victors so far in this series. Napoli getting back into success. Roma winning it a lot of years in a row. And it's starting to look a little bit like Spain, isn't it? Just where you have blocks of teams winning it. Are we going to get any surprises at all? Empoli. And it took till 22-65 for anybody to really look good. Let's have a look at the Bundesliga. I'm pretty sure Bayern Munich were down. Yeah, they're still not in the top division. So Bayern Munich, if we go all the way down to, have they won it since? No, they haven't. Bayern Munich haven't been anywhere. RB Leipzig have just had dominance in Germany. We will have a look at the most times winner of the Premier League as well before we go. Wolfsburg looking very dominant recently. So RB Leipzig, yep, 132. We'll have a look at the Premier League while I'm remembering, and then we'll have a look at Bayern Munich. 73 times Man City have won it. Most points in the season is still West Ham. Most wins is Man United. Most defeats is Stoke. Highest attendance, 110,000 for Man City. Let's have a look at Bayern Munich then. They're in the Zweite Bundesliga, or Zwei Bundesliga. Let's just have a look at where it all went wrong for them. They've just been in this league forever. They can't seem to get out of it. That's crazy. They got back into the Bundesliga at one point, but Bayern Munich since 2150 have not been promoted or relegated. They have been stuck in the Zwei Bundesliga, which is crazy. Let's have a look at the Scottish Premier League and see. Well, Rangers have won it. which I would expect as European champions. Partick Thistle, Ross County. There's a couple of obscure ones for you. But Celtic and Rangers just dominant again. Kilmarnock, Hamilton. Hamilton had a good period, didn't they? Hibernian, that's a good one. So it's certainly been a lot less dominant than it was. Kilmarnock in there again. Dunfermline have won it a couple of times as well in the save. Hearts have won it as well, winning many hearts at the same time. Yeah, that's quite cool. Let's have a look at the Ballon d'Or and see if anybody's had a stranglehold on it within the last sort of 150 years. We haven't seen the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi in this save just yet. Moniz was quite good, wasn't he? Rossman won it 4 years in a row. There's no real point in clicking on these because they're not even in the game anymore, so we can maybe have a look at their careers, but we can't look at any of the stats or season by season stuff. This guy looks good here, Swaleman. So, but then again, we don't know what position he played in, and yeah, it gets quite awful. Philip Schaefer as well. He was a German. He looked quite good. He retired as staff at 73, so he obviously went into management and did all right. Any other sort of long spells of player dominance? It doesn't look like it. It looks well. Nenad Jovanovic won it 4 years in a row. He played for Man United and Leipzig, and he retired. Can we? I don't think we can. No, I thought we couldn't look at his career stats. And that's where we get up to. So the only players we can actually look at are the current ones. I don't know why he's not playing still. I guess he's 37 years old, but we can have a look at his career stats. So he must have been a midfielder. Lots of assists. He played for Wolfsburg, Lyon, Real Madrid and Mainz. So got a pretty damn good career. Let's see how far we can get back. Daniel Lara. He played for Tottenham and Arsenal. Ooh, that's a big one, isn't it? He played for Partick Thistle as well. So Partick Thistle spent 64 million. That's the one thing we'll look at before the episode is rounded off. Let's have a look at the current Ballon d'Or holder. Look at his stats. That's incredible. He's a right midfielder. He's 30 years old, and he looks pretty damn good. He's been in Guingamp all his career. What about Lionel Mathieu? So France look like they've got a load of good players. He was at Nice and then he went to Hull. And look at this, is ridiculous. He's a striker. I was going to say 28 goals in 38 appearances that season. Wow. I wonder who's actually got the Premier League goal scoring record in a season. Can we see that? Most goals in a season, Rafa Reyes. Look at him. He's got over 100 goals for Spain. That's brilliant. Most assists, Martinez. You can see a lot of players' details have been saved on this game. So if you guys really do want to have a look, then make sure you do. I think if we go into World, I think it's up here, isn't it? And then we double click on that, come off it, and then if we go into transfers and leading transfers, we shall see if the world record's been broken. It hasn't as of yet in our sort of playthrough, and it still hasn't been. So Neymar is still the world's most expensive player ever, and Mbappe is second. I mean, it takes. Oh, hold on. Yes, it's still the case. Christoph Bauer is on 157 million. He's the closest. This one's been the most expensive in recent years. Frank Small from Leipzig to Chelsea, but it's still not that recent. It's still 60 years ago. He's probably not even alive now. That's the awful thing. So that is something that'll be interesting. I wonder if that'll ever be broken in our 1,000 years playthrough. The next one will be 150 years. It'll be 500 years, and that'll be over on FM Scout. Let me just find my background. There it is. Some absolutely crazy things in there. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on them. Some of the surprise winners of the Champions League, of the Premier League, not so much, but Rangers win the Champions League is one of the big things for me. And Bayern Munich being stuck in the second division in Germany for over 100 years. That's rough. That is really rough, and that's the sort of thing I like seeing with these experiments. So let me know if there's anything you guys have seen, have spotted that I've missed. Let us know if I've made a glaring error and forgot to look at a particular trophy or anything like that. So no, if you have enjoyed, make sure you hit that thumbs up down below. It really does help out the channel. It means a lot to me as well. If you are new around here, make sure you do subscribe for daily FM18 content. We've currently got a Journeyman on the channel, and we're also doing some FM08 stuff as well. So if you're into your retro football manager, then be sure to click that subscribe button. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.